What's going on, guys? Welcome along to AFC Game by Game, and in this video I'm going to be discussing a couple of the things that I believe need to change at Arsenal Football Club throughout the summer if we are to become a title challenging side. I mean, for a lot of this season, for a majority of this season, we led the Barclays Premier League table, but we've just fallen away and we're rediscovering old issues that we were seeing in previous seasons. And I just think if we are going to become a solid title challenging side, a couple of things need to change. And the first thing that I think is so blatantly obvious, the medical staff completely need to get rid of every single one of them. It's just the fact that Aaron Ramsey is the perfect example. We were told he went out I think he went off in a game against West Ham at the back end of December. We were told he was going to be out for 3 weeks. 3 months down the line, we're being told he's going to be out for another 2 weeks. He's only just making his return at the start of April, and this was a guy who we were told was going to be out for 3 weeks. So that's got to be changed. It's not just him though, it's people like Jack Wilshere as well, Mesut Ozil, players that keep having setbacks. It's ridiculous, and I'm pretty sure we were told the likes of Koscielny, Wilshere, Ozil would all be ready for the game against Wigan, but that's looking more and more unlikely now. Another example is Monreal, Vermaelen, Podolski. It's just a reoccurring theme, and it's something that has to change. Next, another one that I think is so massive at the club. Captaincy. We have a captain that can't even make our starting 11 and is our third choice central defender. You look at Chelsea, they've got John Terry. You look at City, they've got Vincent Kompany. You look at Liverpool, they've probably got the most iconic figure in current English football in Steven Gerrard. All great captains. Retrospective of what you say about them, their personal lives, John Terry, you know, being the racist and all that, he's still a great leader on the pitch. The same goes for Kompany, the same goes for Gerrard, although I think those two are very good professionals. They're all great captains, and we don't have anyone like that. I mean, actually saying that, I think we have a couple of authority figures in the team, but we have no one in the squad that... A perfect example, right, the Everton game. Ross Barkley pushes over Mikel Arteta, our vice-captain, and you would have thought, you know, maybe if you look back of our players in 2004, 2005, that kind of era, when we had the likes of Martin Keown, Laurent Vieira in the team, they wouldn't stand for anything like that. They'd go right up to the person that's done it, in this case Barkley, and he'd have been on the floor, or I don't know, it's just... I would love to see someone do that, although they may get penalised or may not be in the rules of the game. It would be I would just love to see someone grab someone by the scruff of the neck, just show their authority, and just let them know that they can't get away with something like that. It's just something that we're not seeing. The only player that you kind of think would do that is someone like Jack Wilshere, and I wouldn't have him down as captain just yet. I just think he needs to mature a little bit more. I mean, a couple of people that I think would be perfect captains for Arsenal. Aaron Ramsey, maybe in the near future, but certainly someone that is slap bang in the face, obvious for us. Per Mertesacker, a guy that absolutely loves the club. He's been captain a couple of times this season. When he first came into the team, I criticised him for being not vocal enough. Now he's probably the most vocal player on the pitch. So I want to see him being captain next season. Hopefully, maybe someone, if Sagna stays, of course, that brings me on to my next point. But if Sagna stays, I would love to see him get the vice captaincy, but if not, I would love to see someone like Ramsey as captain. I think I can see someone like Wilshere or Ramsey being our captain for a good number of years, and they're certainly the two candidates that I'd have in the team for our long-term captaincy. Another thing that it doesn't necessarily have to change, but something that certainly has to be done, we have to get Bakary Sagna tied down to a new contract. I believe he wants 100 grand a week, and God, that is an awful lot of money, but I can kind of understand why he wants that. I mean, I'm one of these people who doesn't think footballers should earn anywhere near that kind of amount of money, and frankly, they shouldn't. But considering his commitment to the club, I can understand why he wants a new contract with a pay rise. So I think that's something that's got to be done. We've got the money to do it, so 100 grand a week is pennies to whoever owns our club in Kroenke and Gazidis. So dig into their pockets a little bit, get him a new contract. One of the guys that has been so consistent, and the fact of Sagna is he's not getting any better, but he's so committed to the club. He's the kind of the guy that you can't criticise his effort in every single... He does make the odd mistake. I mean, he made one at Everton, but he gives his all in every single game, and that's why we've got to keep a guy like that at the club. One thing that I find most important is the attitude of the players, and this is something that may not be too heavily criticised this season, but I think certainly there have been far too many games where the players have just not turned up and we have seen a lack of effort. Without naming any names, but there certainly have been games where we haven't turned up. Stoke, for example, Napoli away. Now that was a big game for me. We went out there with a quality team actually. We saw the likes of Mesut Ozil in there. Potentially could have gone on and won that game, but we rolled over for Napoli. And if we'd have even got a draw in that game, we would have topped the Champions League group and would have been playing Zenit. And it's games like that that annoy me. Games that matter. And all these players that just fade away. I mean, I said I wasn't going to name any names, but players that really do spring to mind. Podolski, he's a player that just fades away. Sometimes Cazorla, I don't like to criticise him too much, but in big games, he just doesn't turn up. I would have Mesut Ozil on that list, but I think we've got to accept the fact that he's the kind of player that does an awful lot off the ball. He has revolutionised the club this season, and God knows we are missing him at the moment. But that's just something that's got to change. Attitude, application has to be, you know, we see teams like Chelsea, City giving their all week in, week out. Why can't we do that? Liverpool are a prime example because they're striving so hard to win this title. They're a quality side. They're giving every single player in their team, you know, even young John Flanagan, absolutely every single one really wants to win the Premier League. And they're giving everything in every game. And we don't do that. And so many games where we just haven't turned up in either spells of the game or games where we just haven't turned up altogether. Southampton, a majority of that game we weren't involved in it. Like I said, Stoke, Everton, Liverpool, City, all games where we've just failed to turn up. And that's something that is so obvious that it has to change next season. And one final thing that is just, it has to be done this summer, transfers. We need to go out into the market, we need to bring in some solid players, some established players that can help us challenge for a title next season. We've already lost a couple of big names this season in the likes of Mesut Ozil, Theo Walcott. We lost a couple of other big names earlier on in the season. But we really need to get a couple of established names in there so we can afford for the squad to rotate and still field a very strong team. We've lost a lot of our players now, and look how poorly we're playing. Some of our most crucial players, and we've kind of got no one of a good standard to bring in to replace. So we've got players like Rosicky, Chamberlain, and even Chamberlain, saying that I actually really rate him and I want to see him in the starting 11 week in, week out towards the end of the season. But players like Rosicky, Arteta, you know, these are the kind of players, I do rate Rosicky very highly, but he's 33 years old, nearly 34. We need some younger, fresher legs in the team. We need 3 areas that we certainly need to strengthen. We need a striker, we need a central defensive midfielder, we're going to need a new goalkeeper, and we're also going to need I think a left back as well, because Monreal certainly isn't good enough, and a centre half. Now that's about 5 players that we need to bring in. Can I realistically see Wenger bringing in 5 quality players? No, I can't, to be honest. It's a big ask, especially for a guy like him. Whether he's going to sign the new contract, a lot of people could say there has to be a change from the manager, and I'm one of these people that thinks give Wenger another season in the transfer market. He has been without money for a good number of years. He's got over 100 million now. He's got to go out there and he's got to spend it because we know he's got it, so there's no hiding it really. We need to bring in a couple of big names throughout the summer, and we can't be saying that there's no one out there because frankly there is. I'd love to see us bring in someone like Marco Reus, even Balotelli, possibly Schneiderlin from Southampton. I think he's a quality player. We do need a centre half. Can't think of any names at the top of my head, but centre half and left back, certainly 2 areas where we do need some defensive cover because we just don't have any quality players on the bench that can come off and do a job at the moment. Vermaelen, yeah, he's a quality player, but he's just too inconsistent for us, and his head doesn't appear to be in the game at the moment, and he's caught ball watching far too often for my liking. Anyway, those would be my thoughts on what needs to change at Arsenal throughout the summer. Leave your thoughts in the comments box below. If you have enjoyed the video, it'd be great if you click the like button. Subscribe to my channel, and as always, thanks for watching, guys.